We're going to talk about the Capitol riots and the panel that is going to be investigating them. I have some serious issues with it, and so does this man. Maryland GOP governor slams Republicans for whitewashing the Capitol riot. There's no way to overlook it and just say it didn't happen, said the outspoken governor. I completely agree. Maryland GOP Governor Larry Hogan lashed out Friday at Republicans who are whitewashing the U.S. Capitol insurrection. You have to get to the bottom of exactly what happened there, and there's no whitewashing, Hogan told Major Garrett on CBS News. There's no way to just overlook this and say it didn't happen, Hogan said. The nonsense about these were just peaceful tourists is completely absurd. Talk about major disinformation and lies. That's exactly what this is. He was speaking there about President Trump sending out a tweet that everything was blown out of proportion, that the cops were ushering in the rioters into the building, that it was very peaceful, and that would be counteracted by the lives lost in the riots, which there were. So you can't have a peaceful riot and then have people die. That literally makes no sense. And the fact that they're trying to cover it up and whitewash it is a serious problem within the Republican Party, and one I think will come around to bite them in the ass. Because if to get ahead of something, you're gonna have to get ahead of it, and you're gonna have to cut the head off the snake. But there's still a majority of the Republican Party is still with Trump on this, and that is going to be a big problem. You have to wake up from the Trump daydream. But he goes on to say, Larry Hogan goes on to say, I don't want the Republican whitewashing what happened. I don't want the Democrats trying to make political hay. I want to really have a real investigation into what happened. Now, I could not agree more. I completely want a real investigation, but it seems like it may not be what we're going to get. When it all goes down, as this video comes out, I'm sure the proceedings will be underway, and we'll see how it turns out. But I'm super worried because of how Nancy Pelosi's been picking her candidates for the panel. She has not let the Republican Party nominated QAnon people that disavowed the corona, the vaccine, and people that would probably be very pro-Trump, and she would not allow them on the panel. Now, while I do agree it's better politically to not have those people on the panel, to have more of your own narrative, I think it speaks to the fact of the some of the Democrats always have a problem building up their opponents. You should have those people in the room in the discussion to be able to shoot them down and shoot down what they're bringing to the table. You always want to make your opponent look stronger. So when you beat them, it seems like more of a slam dunk, even if it isn't. Even if it's an easy layup, you always want to make your opponent look stronger. And I'm worried at the end of the day, this may turn into a giant circle jerk of anti-Trumpism. The problem with that is that I truly believe people are sick of it. People are sick of the anti-Trump rhetoric. They want something more. They want something with more substance. Not Trump isn't going to cut it anymore. It's old. It's tired. I get it. Politics as usual. You want to keep it. You want to keep how dirty and how how really disgusting the extreme right wing of the party is, especially coming into the midterm elections. So you can build up the Democrats. But I don't think this is going the right way about it. I never have. I never thought that the attacks on Trump being everything no Trump, no Trump, no Trump instead of fighting on a different policy was ever going to work. And sure, it did to get Biden into office, but it's not going to work next time because if it's not Trump. Biden has had 6 months to earn good faith from me. And while doing some decent things like getting back into the Paris Climate Agreement and, doing this withdrawal from Afghanistan, we'll see if it's a full withdrawal. He has not done enough. There is no placating me, my man. You just have not done enough. and you could be doing more. And every time I will cover a story later, um, about refugees, and why you are just not, your bipartisan shit is not flying with me. It's not flying with a lot of the American people anymore. You know, we Biden wants to say, when we argue against him, when we're vocal against him, when the progressive base is vocal against Biden, he wants to compare us to the loud people at Trump rallies. You know, the same vocal minority. But the problem with that is those people were actually on Trump's side. And he wants to say that the progressive base is the same way, that nobody's paying us any attention. Well, guess what? The Capitol riots were proof that maybe someone should have been paying attention. Maybe someone should have been keeping a closer eye on things. Because when people get angry and they get upset, they need to find an outlet for it. And I would never want the left to go and riot in the streets of Washington. But there's always different ways of protest. There's always a way to fight back. And if the Biden administration, the Senate and the House don't get it together, our voice will be heard one way or the other. Even if we have to take the Democratic Party apart brick by brick and replace it with the progressive side of the party, the Bernie Sanders side of the party, with the new, the rising up of Democratic politicians who are, the new wave of FDR. So I hope that the Capitol riots get investigated in a completely nonpartisan way, not bipartisan, nonpartisan. We're gonna find out the facts. We need to find out just the facts. And at the end of the day, I hope they don't get too hung up on Trump, because you're not gonna get him on anything, on a legal matter. It shouldn't be about politics. But Washington, we're talking about.